we find out Yosef reveals himself to the brothers, and he says, Ani Yosef, I'm Yosef, ha'orav yichai, my father living. So it says towards the end of the parsha that he sent back the news to Yaakov, and he told his brothers, go tell my father. And Yaakov, it says, V'techi ruach avihem. The pasuk Chav Ches of the Parak Memhei says there that Yaakov, his spirit was living now. He got a chiyus. He was able to get the spirit back, and he was very happy. And then he said, I'm going to go see Yosef.
You're starting here, but I wanted to ask you something about the... Is that what you want to do?
No, what do you want to ask first?
Because I heard that there was something to the fact that Yosef really should have waited longer to tell his brothers. Or was it the right time to tell the brothers? Had they fulfilled the dream?
Yes, so they had.
Was it because that was the whole purpose of all of this
sending back and forth
is so that the dream would be
he wanted the dreams to be fulfilled. That's true. That's why when they came the first time,
but I'm
he didn't just tell them who he was. Right away he said, first he took away Shimon and he said, bring back Binyamin. Why did he tell him to bring back Binyamin? So the answer is because he had another set of dreams that had to be fulfilled. Yeah,
no, all the brothers had to be together.
Right.
And all of them had to bend down and bow down.
Right.
Okay? Right.
Was
Yaakov and Yaakov didn't have to be there because he was there also when they talked about the dreams originally. Right. Yaakov was there and he said, he wanted to calm down the fever by saying you're crazy.
So what were the two things? So there were two dreams. Right.
The second was with his parents.
So the first dream was, let's go back. Let's see what the two dreams were. Right. The first dream was that he saw
the sheaves of wheat, I believe.
Right. Let's see what the order. The first one. Here we go. The beginning of Vayigash was. Yes, the sheaves of wheat on page 200, and they were how many sheaves of wheat? It says wheat. It doesn't say the number. It says all the brothers were bundling up their sheaves of wheat, and my bundle stood up very high, and your bundles they bowed down to my sheaf. So that was the first dream. So the brothers said, "What are you talking about?" So they're very interesting, right? So that was only the brothers. The second dream was something else. What's that?
The sun and the moon.
Sun and the moon. And there are 11 stars. So what does that mean? There was a sun and a moon and 11 stars that were bowing down. What does that correspond to?
Yaakov and his mother, or possibly his wife and the brothers.
Oh,
Yaakov.
Right, Yaakov, and Yaakov would be the son. The moon would be his mother, Yosef's mother. Who is Yosef's mother? So
it really was the maidservant.
Oh, so though Rachel
wasn't Rachel.
So Yaakov said to the brothers, he was able to push them away and say, "What are you talking about? You think these dreams mean anything? How could it be? His sun and the moon is his mother. How could the moon be his mother? His mother died. Havoi navoi, how could that be?" He said, Rashi brings down, his mother died. Mesa, she died. He
was a baby.
Parshas Vayishlach. He wasn't a baby because he was already old enough that he was able to stand tall. It says when Esav came to meet them, Esav met Yaakov. So it says that they had camps, how they're situated. And it says
he went in front of his mother.
It said he stood up in front of his mother, and he stood tall. So Esav shouldn't have his eyes look at Rachel.
All right.
So there you see that. I don't know. I'm not sure. We can figure out.
Did Yaakov bow down to Yosef?
No.
Yaakov. Well, what's that? So although you're right, he was very young because the minute Yosef was born, So that was the minute that Yaakov said, well, he said, I have to go back now. Look, he had the Yosef symbolized the straw and the fire, that he was able to fight Esav, right? You ever heard that symbolism? Here, I'll read you how Rashi says. Rashi says that once he had Yosef born to him, so then he had the three. I'll read you what Rashi says. There was a fire and the spark.
Wasn't that of his own Torah that he saw in the potential that Yosef had to continue?
Here, to 1 second. Let me just read. On page 156, he said, "I got to go home now. Now I see that I had Yosef born to me. The minute Yosef was born, all of a sudden he said, I got to go home. Why? So Rashi brings down on page 156, pasuk Chav Dalid, pasuk Chav Hey. He told Lavan, let me go. Oh, so the answer is, Rashi brings down second column, 4 lines on the bottom on page 156. Rashi says, you see the second column 156? The Mishanol, right? Yolda Rachel, so I say 4 lines on the bottom. The minute the Sitno Shel Esav, the Sitno, like the adversary of Esav was born, Kasher Rachel, Yolda Rachel, as Yosef was born, Shenamar V'haya Beis Yaakov, Eish, Ubeis Yosef Lahava, Ubeis Esav Lakash. So now, once Yosef is born, now Yaakov could fight Esav. Because the pasuk says in Ovadia, this is a pasuk in the Navi, that Beis Yaakov will be Eish. The house of Yaakov is fire. The house of Yosef is Lahava, is like a flame. And Beis Esav Lakash, and Esav is like straw, which means we needed the spark. Yosef is the flame that will set Esav, and we'll be able to fight Esav. Because it says, and Rashi continues, Eish, just if you just have a fire, Beloy Lahava, right? I guess Lahava maybe means even to blow it. If you don't have Lahava, it's not gonna go too far. So Lahava is, I guess, the flame, the full flame. So he said, now that I won't go far, but now that Yaakov had Yosef, he was ready to fight Esav. So it says he was ready. He said, let's go. That's when he was born. But what did Lavan tell him back? When Yaakov asked him, he said, I have 11 children of my own now. I want to go home. So what did Lavan say back to him?
You should have let me know so I could throw a party or something.
That was when he ran away. When he ran away, okay. then Lavan says to Yaakov,
foolish thing.
You ran away. Why did you run away? If you would have told me in advance, I could have thrown a party. Right. I would have taken out the flute and the drums to give you a goodbye party, right? You hear the trickster that he is, right? Sure, he would have made a whole party. But in any event, what Lavan did right now, when he had a new baby, okay. Lavan said, right? Yaakov said, I gotta now make my own living. I gotta build my own family. Now I have my family. Let me go. Right. So Lavan said, no. I'll tell you what. Work for me, and I'll give you money. What's your wages? Right. So then it started the whole business with
the cows, the speckled, and
the striped, and he had the whole business. So how many years was that?
7.
Right. That was right. If you add it up, right. He worked for 7, 14, and another
21 years.
Another even 22. Could be even 22. Yeah. Could be even 8. Have to see what it is. But so Yosef here was 8. I think he was 8 now. Finally, he decided to run away after those years. After 20 years. Oh, you're right. It was 20. No, it was 20. You're right. It was 6 years. Yosef was 6 years old when they started going back. So I don't know how long the trip took, but Yosef wasn't too. He was able to go in front of his mother. They were very mature in those days, but he was 6.
He was a kid.
He was a kid still. Okay, fine. That's the background. How old Yosef was. And that, what was your question? So your question, yeah. So let's
the
go back.
second dream.
So the dream. So now the dream came about.
So
Here.
the first dream regarding about this brothers bowing down to Yosef.
What was the second dream? The second dream was that the sun and the moon should bow down. Now who's the moon? So Yaakov said, it can't be the Rachel, because Rachel died already years ago when your brother Benjamin was born. So therefore it has to be that the dream doesn't mean anything. But really the dream meant, who did it correspond to?
Yaakov.
One of them took over as his mother.
Oh, who took over?
Is it Zilpah or the other one? I don't know.
Bilhah.
Why do you say Bilhah?
Bilhah.
Why do you pick her?
Well,
because
I remember that he felt very comfortable with the sons there.
Right.
That was with the sons of both of the
but he felt maybe because of the same age.
But that was probably Rachel's maidservant, no?
Yes.
So that's what is natural.
Yes.
I guess more natural. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No.
Bilhah was the maidservant to Rachel.
Bilhah was Rachel's maidservant. Right.
So that makes sense.
So that's the So that's the Rashi here. So that's who it was. So the second dream it comes out was not the same as the first dream, right? If you just take a superficial thing, you say, oh, there's two dreams. No, there were different dreams.
Right.
And since there were different dreams, it comes out there was a new So now they needed Yaakov and Bilhah and the other 11 Shvatim to come and bow down to him.
Right. It didn't happen.
Now, what do you mean? Why didn't it happen?
Because they didn't go to Egypt.
Yeah, Yaakov did. This week's parsha.
Yeah. Yaakov does go there.
That finally he calls him down. So, but first he needed the first dream to come true. After the first dream came true, now he needed the second dream to come true. So, but that's what happened. The first time, who came down to Mitzrayim the first time? With
10 brothers.
10 brothers.
Yeah.
So Yosef said, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. I need 11. So I need Binyamin. So it wasn't just Stam who was trying to give them tzaras.
Yeah, he had to fulfill the dream.
He had to fulfill the dream.
Yeah.
So therefore he said, Binyamin has to come. So they said, yeah, Binyamin, he can't come. My father won't let him. But he had to come.
Why was he so obsessed on fulfilling the dream?
No, because he had a dream.
It could be it was like a nevuah.
Okay.
It was like a prophecy. It wasn't just a dream.
Hashem gave him that when it came to the 7 years and the 7 years. He gave him that nevuah to
Right. Well, right there, that was also very similar.
No, I mean,
but he felt that it was his obligation to carry out the dream.
I don't know if Yosef knew that they were going to at that particular time that they were all going to be going to Mitzrayim in order for this nevuah to. Because that is all the reason for all of this. I don't know if Yosef knew about all of that.
Okay, he did his best, and finally he sees there right in front of us, so he knew that it's coming true, the dreams are coming true. So he's going to do his best now to...
But I don't know if Yosef knew that the reason why this dream had to be fulfilled was because it was for them to go into Mitzrayim.
For who to go to Mitzrayim? For all the Jews to go down to Mitzrayim? Or the 11 brothers?
The 11 brothers. This was the beginning of the fulfilling of what Hashem says to Abraham.
That's true.
I don't know. That's the reason why that always has to be done. Now I don't know if Yosef knew that.
Yeah. Okay. That I don't know. All I'm saying here is that Yosef was trying to fulfill the dream.
But Yosef understood the fact that the dream had to be filled.
Right. So he was doing his share in making sure that the dreams came true.
But it's a very important point because it's all like a puzzle trying to be put together for the Jews to be redeemed after 200 and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was part of the big picture. That's true.
Yeah, it's part of the big picture that they don't necessarily know the whole picture.
Yeah, that's true, right. So he did his part. That was his part, which would ultimately bring everyone down. He brought Yaakov down to Mitzrayim.
So you're saying that when Yaakov came with they all bowed down.
Right, and that's why if you look at the pasuk.
Does Rashi say that?
Look at pasuk. Yes. Turn to page 232. 232. I want to show you an interesting pasuk here. Pasuk says, the brothers come down and they see Yosef. So look at pasuk Zayin or pasuk Vav. The Yosef He was the shalit, he was the ruler on the whole Mitzrayim. Who a mashber, he would provide to everyone, to all of the nation, everyone. So the brothers came down and they bowed down to him. The 10 brothers came down and bowed down to him right away. So they didn't know who they were bowing down to, and that was the first thing. They bowed down. But what does it say in the next pasuk? He saw his brothers, and Vayakirim, he recognized them. He saw who they were, and he made believe he was like a stranger towards them, and he spoke to them kashos. And look at the next pasuk. Turn to the top of 234. What did he do? Top line. Vayizkar Yosef es hachalamois asher chalam lahem.
He reminded them of the dreams.
He what?
Himself. He reminded himself.
He reminded himself.
Himself of the dreams that he dreamt about them. What's the pasuk doing here? What's the pasuk telling us now? He reminded himself of the dreams. What does it have to do with anything here? So, right, why is this pasuk right here?
To put the end of the book and to complete it.
Because now he sees them. He sees, the dreams are going to be fulfilled now. He remembered the dream. Yeah. The dream was that you're all going to bow down. He sees they're right in front of him. He says, now they're coming true. I got to do one more point to bring the first dream to fruition. Where's Binyamin? Right. So there it says, Vayomer, and therefore he told them. He told them, now bring Binyamin down.
Very good, very good.
So that's the hemshich. That's the continuation from one to the next. Okay, so that's the beginning. So then it says further. So he said, where's Binyamin? So Binyamin finally came down. And then when he bowed down, so now let's go back to Yaakov. So right? So that's what we were saying before. So he got the first dream fulfilled. Finally, Binyamin came down. That's that Parshas Bikates, Vayigash. We're up to the beginning of Vayigash. Finally, Binyamin is here, and Binyamin bowed down. Right? You'll see. What was it? Was at the end of last week's parsha? Did they come? They came back to him. Here. And how does it say? Does it say they bowed down? So it says they stood there.
Where is he? But then Vayigash is just the.
It says on page 244 that they came into Yosef and they bowed down. So that was where they actually fulfilled the first dream. Page 244, right on the top, the first pasuk, pasuk Chav Vav. They all bowed down. Here's where Yosef said, check, I did my part, and Hashem did his part, and the first dream was fulfilled all the way. Okay, but then now he needed his Yaakov to come up, and that was just after that. It was all simple to get Yaakov to come down. He sent to his father, "Please come down," and that's where this was.
Yeah, but I mean the idea, so that really, in fact, all the brothers bowed down at that particular time.
Right there.
Okay.
Yes.
However, he goes on with this
the goblet and
with the whole scheme, because
he wanted to know if the brothers have done tshuva amongst his brother Binyamin.
But he saw already that they came. But they saw already that they came.
So he got the dream. He did the dream.
Why was it necessary then to go through the whole thing regarding the?
Why did he have to hide the goblet?
The goblet. I mean.
Oh, okay, fine. So we're gonna go into that. But so I'm just speaking out that this now we finally have the first dream, and now when Yaakov is gonna come, then we'll have the second dream. So, and it's interesting, it comes out that could be the reason why Yosef didn't tell his father that he was in Mitzrayim. Because if he would tell his father, and his father would come and everyone would know that Yosef...
Then it would not fulfill any, yeah.
Right. So that's why it could be that he didn't tell his father for all those years. But it comes out it was a nevuah. He had to fulfill the prophecy. So even though it caused his father a lot of pain, but that was part of the nevuah. He had to do that.
Sorry, why did you say that he might not have contacted his father? I didn't quite
Because this whole thing, the brothers wouldn't have come down, and if his father knew he was, then he would just say, Yosef, send me up some food. He wouldn't have sent the brothers down, and he wouldn't have sent Binyamin down. He would have just told Yosef, you're Tzafnas Paneach, right? You know what Tzafnas Paneach is? That was the name that Paro gave him.
Oh,
Yosef. And he said, you're the leader of Mitzrayim, we need food. It's a hunger. It's a rav ba'aretz. It's a big hunger.
But if they left Canaan because there was a lock there, they would have had to come down anyways, and they would have all bowed down anyways.
Maybe Yaakov could have just sent Yosef a message, send me up some food, UPS. He wouldn't have to send the brothers, and right, and it wouldn't have been a whole back and forth. He would have sent Binyamin down right away, and it wouldn't have, the whole thing wouldn't have. This is, I think the Ramban brings this down, this idea down. This is the Ramban's take why Yosef didn't tell the brothers for he didn't tell his father for all those years. Because that would be, if not, there was a big claim on Yosef then. Why didn't he tell him for all those years? The answer to that claim, says the Ramban, is because he was fulfilling a prophecy. That was his way. He wanted to see how God would bring about.
Yes, there was something to do with Yaakov being away from Isaac for 22 years also.
That's also true. That was Mida Keneged Mida.
Right.
That was Mida, right? Measure for measure. It's true.
Yeah.
That's why the 22 years match up. Yaakov left Yitzchak for 22 years. So Yosef left Yaakov for 22 years. That's true. But in terms of Yosef's private cheshbon, why did Yosef do it? Why did Yosef, he had bechira. He has free will.
There's also something about him not wanting to make it known about what his brothers did to him or something, to save face for the brothers.
So therefore,
not to embarrass, not to let us.
So he did. So it's a big question if he told his father, but that's the answer that the Ramban says how he could wait all these years on his own. That was his own decision to wait and cause his father anxiety of worrying where my son Yosef is.
He had to do it in a certain order.
Yeah, right. He had to see how Hashem's Hashgacha Pratius would play out. How would Hashem, take him out of jail and bring him up to be the leader of Mitzrayim? Not only that, but he didn't just wait to tell his father. He locked up Shimon, and imagine, and that caused Yaakov pain also. Yaakov said, Yosef is not here, Shimon is locked up, you want to take Binyamin from me? It was caused him a lot of pain that Shimon was locked up. And not only that, he said, bring me Binyamin. That's a big claim. Do you know Yaakov was ready to tell the brothers, don't go back. He told the brothers, don't we're not going for more food. Right, in Parshas Miketz. At first.
Yeah.
What happened?
They ran out of food.
They ran out of food.
That's right.
So that, right,
they
Yehuda.
More provision.
Oh, so Yehuda told the brothers, wait till we run out of food, and then Yaakov will get desperate. But at first Yaakov said, don't go, forget it. Yeah. Shimon, don't worry about Shimon. He'll be okay. Shimon will be okay. He was ready to leave him there. Even though he's locked up, right? We don't, I never thought about it at this angle, but Yaakov was willing to keep Shimon there. If the food, let's say the hunger would have broken, Shimon was there for a few weeks till the hunger ran out, till their food ran out.
Yeah.
So you see that Yosef, that was also the reason how Yosef was able to do that and cause his father that pain of calling for Binyamin and locking up Shimon, is because that was further part of the dreams. That's part of his fulfilling the dreams. And not only that, you have to see so like Irving is pointing out, the idea of why he would put the becher into the sack of Binyamin, right? So that's further. He was testing them to see about if they love Binyamin. That's going to be the beginning of this week's parasha of Vayigash. Were they willing to stand up for Binyamin? What would happen there? So that was all part of his dream, to see where they were holding. That's all the Ramban. Ramban explains this. So very interesting to see that Ramban. It's on Perek Mem Beis. I think that's where the Ramban is. He goes through this whole idea. Okay.
Didn't he have to also see that the brothers were like a unit together, like they weren't fighting amongst themselves? Wasn't that one of the things that impressed him, that when they were at his place, that they weren't fighting amongst themselves?
Yes, that's true. So this is what comes out. So this is Yaakov's cheshbon, Yosef's cheshbon, what Yosef was doing. So that's the first idea. It's interesting. Just once we're speaking about the Ramban, I'll just tell you one more idea. He says the Ramban says that right, the reason why they didn't recognize him. Everyone knows Rashi. Rashi says that Yosef had left them without a beard, and now he had a beard. That was the first thing. There's also the Ramban says a svara, a logic that they had no idea. They didn't even dream that could be him. Which means if they would have been thinking, and they would have been trying to place that face and looking, maybe Yosef would be, then maybe they could have chapped it was Yosef. But they thought they sold him to the lowest of the low, to caravan of Arabs.
Right.
Yeah.
They had no inkling that they couldn't even dream that he could get so high to be a throne. How do you say from a slave to a throne? Mekim meyar for a doll, right? We say in Palo, right? You don't think someone from Afar, from the dust, is going to go up and be on the throne. So they didn't even have an idea. That's the answer. That's part of it that you have to add in, how they didn't chap that it was Yosef. So number one, there was a beard. Number two, they never had a dream like that. And the third thing, the Ramban says also that he might have had a hat on. Interesting, Ramban.
He was dressed up as a pharaoh.
Right.
He looked like a goy.
That's true. And not only that,
He probably had the makeup and the thing, he looked like an Egyptian.
that could be. But the Ramban even said that he kept his hat a little. Could be he kept his hat lower down on his face. That's
But
also
we're talking about, he was, how old was he when he sold? Was he 17?
17.
So he was 17.
Yeah.
So then he's 30 years old now when maybe he's 33, by the time all that.
right.
So we're talking here like 13, maybe 13 to 16 years.
Right.
Not to see somebody.
Right.
How would you recognize?
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, he puts in these three ideas.
And then also the fact
He had
that
a hat.
Who would ever think that
Who would ever
become
dream?
like
And he had a
such
beard.
high position? No one would believe it.
Yeah. So this is so now that Yaakov came down, and we're going to read in Parshas Vayigash that everyone came down, 70 nefashot, 70 souls, and among those 70 was Bilhah. Bilhah came. So Bilhah, she bowed down, and then the second dream was completed. Right? That you could see. You'll look at the pasuk when they come. That's going to be.
It says that Joseph went to meet them, to meet his father.
Yeah, so we'll have to see
I
exactly.
don't see where it says that they bowed down to him.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. That's an interesting question to look up. Did they actually bow down to him, or just the fact that they all came down to him? Maybe that was enough to call it that they fulfilled the dream. It's an interesting question.
You might what that.
So did they actually
It doesn't
bow
show
down?
a pasuk where it says that Yaakov and the maidservant and the sons bowed down.
First of all, it's not covered.
He came with his chariot.
No, you have to
what
show
kind of
respect to a
covet-
king.
What are you talking about? It's your father.
No,
His father doesn't bow down to us.
Oh,
But he was a king. Joseph was a king also.
Doesn't make a difference. But
We still
he
have
knew
to-
already. He knew already now that it was his father.
That's
That was
true.
his son.
But he had the din of a king, Joseph, and therefore there's a lot of laws that are learned out in terms of a king, covet of a king, that we learn out.
But that father should bow down to a son.
Now I'm not saying we have to look up the halacha there, but it is interesting that Irving is pointing out we don't see
As a matter of fact, Paro goes and bows down to Yaakov.
Who?
Paro, yes.
Paro, when he
That's
comes
true.
in there, he sees him. He's such an old man. He's such a. He saw the.
I think Yaakov bows down to him, no?
No, Paro goes and bows down to Yaakov.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to look into it. It's a good question. It's a very good question. Paro had two dreams, right? One dream was about the skinny cows and the fat cows, and one dream was
The wheat or the corn?
right that also the stalks that they would eat up, right? Also, I think they would eat
The
them.
poor,
The
wheat
stalks-
stalks ate the healthy stalks.
Right.
Yeah.
So why were there two dreams? Why were there two dreams?
So the other two?
No. So Paro was very bothered. He didn't know what the dreams
Yosef
meant.
says it's because Hashem is ready to put it in place.
About the plagues.
About
7 years.
the hunger.
The hunger.
That's right.
That's true. But why did he need 2 dreams? Why couldn't one dream suffice? He could have only had 1 dream.
Yosef says to Pharaoh that it's because it's ready to come. It's starting to happen.
So Irving's quoting a pasuk. It's a pasuk.
Well, I mean, that's right in the Torah.
It's a pasuk. A pasuk from the Chumash.
One of the dreams was happening now. The good years were now.
Yeah, but if he would have had 1 dream, that would have meant soon. Well, there'll be a hunger. There'll be a hunger, and then there'll be 7 years of good, 7 years of hunger. But the 2 years meant that it's imminent. It's coming. It's like knocking at the door already. 2 dreams is like, quick, let's go. So it's a pasuk in the Torah. The pasuk says,
it says it's ready at hand.
I'll show you what Irving is quoting, because it's a beautiful pasuk here. Here, take a look. Turn for 1 minute to page 226.
What God is about to do here, shown to Pharaoh.
What?
Here, page pasuk Lamed Beis, on page 226. Why did you hear the dream twice? It's ready to happen. Hashem's going to do it right away. So that's why you got a dream twice, because it's going to happen very fast. So they got the same dream. It was just, this was cows, this was storks. But the reason why he got it twice is because it was going to happen quick. That was his interpretation, and that's what happened. So the question is, let's go now to Yosef's dreams that you're bringing up now. Yosef also had 2 dreams. So if Yosef had 2 dreams, so if you have 2 dreams, so that 2 dreams should mean that that's going to happen right away. If that's what the pasuk says, you see pasuk Lamed Beis,
It's ready at hand.
if 2 psukim, 2 dreams, one after another, come to teach me that it will happen right away, the dreams will come to be fulfilled right away.
Very quick.
So let's go back. Yosef also had 2 dreams.
Right.
So they should have been fulfilled also quickly.
But it took 20 years or whatever.
The problem is, it took 22 years. Right? 22 years. He was sold. He went down to the time. He didn't see his father for 22 years. That means from the dream, his father heard the dream, right? His father said it's nothing, whatever. But then he was sold. So it took 22 years for the dreams to come true. But the dreams were repeated. So one time it was the sun and the moon and 11 stars, and one time it was
The wheat sheaves.
it was the sheaves, the bundles that they were tying. So why did Yosef take so long? If that's the rule is 2 dreams, right? That shows that it's imminent. It's going to happen right away. So Yosef's dream should have happened very fast. It shouldn't have taken 22 years.
But maybe it took so long because of the famine, like the 7 years of the.
Okay, but the famine should have started right.
So you're saying why is it that Pharaoh's dreams were immediate and then his was
Took 22 years.
Right, and
Especially because the pasuk says twice is because its meaning is ready to
Hey,
go.
yeah, twice means it's ready to go. So if twice means it's ready to go, then by Yosef,
why wasn't it applicable there?
it should also be twice means it's ready to go.
You can also say, that when Hashem speaks to Avram, he says there that the Jews are going to be going into Egypt, and that's already hundreds of years later.
Okay, but that was only 1 dream.
Yeah, but it's a prophecy.
Yeah, but
you have
the
an
prophecy.
answer. You have an
prophecy.
answer.
Yes,
You have an answer.
I do. But the prophecy could happen later. But the question is on this
I
pasuk
give the answer because you want to go.
Lamed Beis. I'm just pointing out the question. The Irving's pointing out it's a pasuk. The doubling of the dream is because it's going to happen right away. So why did Joseph's dream happen fast?
Yeah.
So the answer is
Pharaoh's dream happened fast.
right. So that's right. That's
Why did Pharaoh's dream happen fast and Yosef's dream took
Right.
22 years?
And which one's the question? Which one is my problem? Where do I have a problem on?
Yosef.
Why did it take 22 years?
Who am I asking on?
You're asking why is it that
Yosef
Yosef's
took so
dream
long.
took so long and Pharaoh's dream happened like a soft.
And Paro's dream, I understand why it happened right away. Because the pasuk says in pasuk 32 that the doubling of the dream, you had 2 dreams,
Right.
that means it's going to happen right away.
Because one of them was already being fulfilled at that time.
No? How was it?
They were in
Paro?
Paro.
How was it?
They were already in the middle of. They were already having the good years.
No. Who? With Yosef? No.
When he says to Paro, you're going to have 7 good years.
It didn't start. I think it started right after that.
Yeah, right after that.
Right after he said it?
Yeah, it started then. It didn't start before that.
No.
Let's see the pasuk.
Because he needed time to accumulate all the grains and everything.
It says then, but it says on page 228, the bottom line, then Batas ha'aretz, the land then produced 7 years of abundance. I think it started right then.
When he announced it.
Right then, when he became, the pasuk before it says he made him the second in command. Right. He was on top of the whole land of Mitzrayim. And then the earth produced 7 years. I think it started then. It didn't start before.
Okay.
Right? They were counting. They took out their stopwatches. They counted to make sure it was 7 good years. But it only started right then. But it started right away. That minute he was proclaimed second in command, and all the food started coming. So it comes out like this. Here's an answer that they all say. This is actually, someone said a different answer. One answer is based on what we said before. It's only if the dream is repeated. Paro had 2 dreams. It was the same dream. Just the first one was with cows. The second one was with stalks. So why did you repeat the same dream? There's nothing new about it. Just to repeat the same dream in a different type of form, in an animal, in cows, or in wheat stalks. It's the same thing. Why do you repeat it? So Yosef told him, because it's going to happen right away.
And Yosef was a little different.
But Yosef's dream, it wasn't repeated.
Yeah, it
was a different dream.
Right after.
What was different about Yosef's 2 dreams from each other?
The 10 and the 12. 10 people in total.
The 11. The Shvatim. The first one was only the 11.
So, that's right.
Bowing down, right? The stalks were bowing down. How many stalks? 11. But the next dream was the sun and the moon, and the 11. That was more, right? There were 13. The sun, the moon, 11 stars. That's not the same as the first dream. They were 2 different dreams. This is the Shvatim will bow down. The second dream was that his father and mother and the Shvatim will bow down. So it's not a kasha. Why did he have 2 dreams? He had 2 dreams because the first dream was the order of sequence of events. First will bow down the brothers, and then will bow down his father and his mother and the brothers. So it's not that it was repeated the same dream over and over again. No, it was 2 different dreams. First, and second. So you can't ask, why did it happen 2 dreams? Because he needed 2 prophecies to be fulfilled. So therefore the kasha doesn't even stop.
I don't know why. I don't get your understanding from that. Why this was 22 years, the other one was immediate.
No, so I'm just saying that the rule that Irving is pointing out of whenever you have 2 dreams signify that's going to happen right away. Because why do you have 2 dreams? You could have just had 1. So Yosef told Paro, you had 2 dreams, even though it's the same exact thing, because it's going to happen right away. 2 dreams is imminent. It's knocking on the door already. 1 dream, boom, he went back to sleep. Another dream, 2 dreams. You're dreaming 2 dreams. That means it's going to happen right away.
But the key is that it was the same dream.
It was the same dream twice. Same dream twice. Why are you having the same dream twice? That means because it's going to happen. Hashem's sending a message already. It's going to happen. But by Yosef, it wasn't the same dream twice. Right. So you can't say, why did I have 2 dreams twice? He had 2 dreams twice. He had 2 separate dreams one time. Right. So there's no repetition. If nothing was repeated, so then you can't ask, why did he have 2 dreams? He had 2 dreams because he had 2 different nevuahs. One was his brothers will bow down to him. One was that his whole family would bow down to him.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't know if that proves it, but I can tell you this, that we learn from all of this that Hashem runs the world. Why some things happen, take certain amount of time for certain things to happen, is because there's a course of events that have to happen. Now, I don't believe that what you're saying to me, that 22 years, is because of the 2 dreams being the fact that, this one was the same dream.
No, this is right from the Torah, though. It's telling. Yosef is explaining to Paro that the fact that it happened 2 the same dreams, that it means that it's ready to go.
Right, okay.
That's not...
Okay, fine.
As Yosef explains.
That's his interpretation.
Right.
But to say that the other one took 22 years, because it was two different dreams.
No, I'm just.
I don't go for that.
No, I'm not saying that's what
He's saying, Irv, he's saying that the first two
He's saying
dreams.
that the
Yeah, because these.
that is quoting why two dreams. It wasn't two dreams.
It wasn't the same two dreams.
So it didn't have to come quickly.
It didn't have to. I'm not saying that's why it took 20 years. I'm just saying that's why it didn't have to happen right away.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it doesn't. I'm saying that the first reason. You're saying to me that the reason why this had to happen right away because the two dreams were the same dream.
That's right.
Okay. Why it took 22 years there? No one can.
I'm not saying why it took 20 years.
No one can answer that question. You can't answer that question.
No, but based on the formula.
It's a two different dreams.
Based on this formula.
I'm just saying why.
This formula is only for this.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
This formula is because you had two dreams
It's
for
like
now.
You can take one and then put it in different situations.
It's not the same situation.
I'm just explaining why it didn't have to happen right away.
And how could it happen right? It's not the same.
No, what's that? When would this come about? This dream of Yosef.
You're saying like this. That the second set of dreams, the dream to Paro, because it was the same dream,
Right.
with different. With the stocks and then with the stars and the moon and the moon.
Cows.
That with the cows, it's the same dream, just different things like that. That's why it had to happen like that.
Right.
You can't say that the reason why it took. No one can.
No,
answer.
I'm not saying that's why it took 22
years. He's just saying
I'm just
it's not
saying-
happening right away.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why it didn't have to happen the minute Yosef woke up.
Right. So you shouldn't bring up about the first set of dreams.
No, the first set of dreams, since they happened, which ones? By Paro?
No, with
Yosef?
With Yosef and the
just-
brothers.
No, so I'm saying there, since it wasn't the same dream,
Right.
it was two different dreams, so that's why it didn't have to happen the minute Yosef woke up.
Okay.
All of a sudden the brothers
You're
woke
just
up.
saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
Why
saying.
it took so long, nobody knows.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
exactly.
that. Right. I'm not
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying that's why it didn't have to happen. The minute he dreamed it,
right.
the brothers would go
Right.
bow down. Right. 22 years. Okay, that's already cheshbonos. That could be because mida kedeged mida.
Who knows? Yeah.
But they bring down that he was away from his father. Yaakov was away from Yitzchak.
Well, we
22 years.
know. Yeah, Yaakov was away from Yitzchak for 22 years, so Mida came out again. Mida, but also that's also not right because the circumstances that Yosef had,
I think there was a time that Yaakov might have had the opportunity to come back earlier, and he decided the extra 6
But wait a minute,
Yeah.
Yaakov's
And that made him accountable for all the
Yaakov's
years.
punishment was that he could have sent a message to his father that I'm alive.
Yaakov or Yosef?
Yaakov.
He should have sent a message. His father knew he was alive. No,
Why did he know where he was?
He was by Lavan. He knew he went.
He
to
knew
Lavan.
about that?
Yeah, but he should have came back. He should have came back to
stayed
his
an extra
father.
6 years.
His mother told him go away for a few years, get married, and then come back. So after he already had he got married, he should have came back.
Or should I make?
So he waited extra long. The waiting extra long was what he was held accountable, and therefore all the years he was held accountable for. They all added up because the last 6 years he went and he didn't tell he didn't go back. Okay, so that was the halacha. That's what we learned out from there. And okay, so that answers the second dream also.
That's good.
So he finally did the second
He
dream.
answered.
And they say it's interesting. Okay, that's good. That's beautiful. So, and you had another question also, or that was it?
He answered.
Yeah, we answered that also. Yeah, we answered the second one. Okay, so let's turn to page 256. So what happened? So Yaakov said, "I'll go down to Yosef. I'll go to visit Yosef," and his spirit lived. So what does it say? Let's see the pasuk Perek Mem Vav. Perek Mem Vav pasuk Aleph, page 256. Vayisa Yisrael v'chol hashaloi. So Yisrael traveled with everything that he had. Vayavoy Bereshava. He came to Bereshava. Vayizbach zvachim lelekei aviv Yitzchak. And he slaughtered zvachim. He slaughtered sacrifices lelokei aviv Yitzchak, to the God of his father Yitzchak. So on here we have a big question here. Why does it say that he slaughtered it?
Why the God of your father Yitzchak? Why does it say Avram?
Oh, excellent. Comes along the Medrash. Very good. Very good. Here's a question.
Yes.
The Medrash asks, why does it say that he slaughtered them to the God of his father Yitzchak? What about the God of his grandfather Avraham? So the Medrash says that we learn out a big halacha from here. What is it? Yeah, what?
A son owes more honor to his father than to his grandfather.
Right. How do you know this? How do you know this? Oh, they bring it down?
Yeah.
So we learn out from here a big halacha that you are obligated to honor your father more than your grandfather. Which means it's telling us one chiddush. It's telling us the first thing is that you have a mitzvah of kavod for your grandfather. Rashi's telling us you have to honor your grandfather, but you have to honor your father more than your grandfather.
So what he's saying, V'lehei Yitzchak v'lehei Avraham, he could have said.
He could have said both.
Yeah, you could do it. But why? So why not to say the father, grandfather?
So that the Ramban asks this question. The Ramban says maybe he should have said both.
Should have said both.
Yeah. But the way they bring down on the side of the Medrash, they say, but if anything, at first glance, before the Rashi came along, before the Medrash, he should have said Avram, because Avram was, if you talk about Elokei, the God, who was the first one to discover
right.
The God? It was Avram.
Yeah.
Avram was the one who was Mefarsim. He made it very clear to everyone in the world that there's a God. Right. Yitzchak was already the second one. He was like the Tuffle. So therefore, it should have said at least the God of Avram. Or if not Avram, it should have said the God of Avram and Yitzchak. Or maybe something else. Maybe it should have just said the God, my God, La Hashem. But why did it say specially Yitzchak and not Avram? So that the Medrash answers this kasha. The Medrash says, like Rashi brings down. You see Rashi here? Rashi says, Chayev Adam bechvoid aviv. Right? I'll show you. You see the Rashi right here? It's on Pasuk Aleph. Second column, second to bottom line on the page. That he's quoting this Medrash. Chayev Adam bechvoid aviv. A person is obligated to honor his father. Yoser mikvoid zikeinai. More than the kavod of his grandfather. Therefore, since he's obligated to honor his father more, so he hung and he said the words, Elokei, the God of my father. He didn't want to say the God of my grandfather because it's more honorable to say the God of my father. For example, they bring down the halacha. Let's say your son wants to get, you send him to the store. So you should say, my father sent me. He should like say in the name of his father, so that's honorable. So here too, right, you ever heard that idea to say over something in the name of your father? My father said I should, so to here, if he wants to say in the name of either his father or his grandfather, it's more of a mitzvah to honor your father than your grandfather. But one thing that we learn from this Medrash, we learn from this Rashi, is that you have a mitzvah to honor your grandfather. Because if there would be no mitzvah at all, so Rashi should have just said, the Medrash should have just said, he said his father because there's no mitzvah to honor his grandfather. Rashi didn't say that there's no mitzvah to honor your grandfather. Rashi said there is a mitzvah, but it's a bigger mitzvah to honor your father than your grandfather. But they're both mitzvahs. So that's an interesting...
Without the grandfather, won't be a father.
It's true. Yes. That's true too. But in terms of who's the mitzvah to honor, you see from here that there's a mitzvah to honor your grandfather, right?
Okay, but there's a mitzvah, the right of honoring your parents. Is it a mitzvah, the right to honor your grandfather, or it's just?
Yeah. So, is there a mitzvah to honor your grandfather from the Torah? Is it one of the 613 mitzvahs? So. It could be that's what Rashi means. It's not as high a mitzvah. It's not one of the 613 mitzvahs. But it is a mitzvah. It is a mitzvah. Something. So because of this, the Ramah writes, says...
But do we get the idea of the mitzvah of honoring your grandfather from this pasuk that Rashi brings down? So is this where the first time that we get this?
Yes, so this is the source. Although it's an argument, the Ramah writes... The Rabbi in Shulchan Aruch brings down that, I'll read you how he says it. Heinoi nirali. He says, I don't like this view who says that you don't have to honor your grandfather. Rather, chayev bekavod aviv. Yoiser mikavod avi aviv. He brings down, it's a takeoff of this medrash. He says, you're obligated in the honor of your father more than your grandfather. But you see from there that you are obligated, and he brings the last words of the Ramah in Shulchan Aruch is from this pasuk. He brings a raya from the medrash by Vayizbach Zvachim. This is the source that there is a mitzvah to honor your grandfather. That's what comes out. So you have to go through different places through the Gemara, but it comes out that this would be a prime source. There's an interesting Gemara. The Gemara says also where there was two Amoraim, Reb Acha bar Yaakov, and he brought up Reb Acha bar Yaakov, Bei bar Yaakov bar Barte. He was brought up in a house of someone else, right, Bar Yaakov. And when he got older, the one who brought him up said, "Could you bring me a glass of water?" So he said, "Lav berichana, I'm not your son. Why should I bring you a cup of water?" So, and it came like to be a phrase that people would say that maybe you could raise me, but even though Gadol see, right, he raised me, but I'm not his son. I'm not your son. So you see from there, this is the question where they start bringing back proofs back and forth. But from this Ramah, it's ruled in Shulchan Aruch that you have to be careful to make sure to honor your grandfather, or it comes up with children, grandchildren also. So there is a mitzvah about, at least to some degree, maybe not from the Torah, but at least there is a mitzvah to honor your grandfather, and also grandmother. Grandmother also would be included in this because the Ben Ish Chai, they bring down the same thing. So therefore, this is the source. It's very, very important to know this.
Isn't there's some mitzvahs that are our grandparents are also in doing certain things for their grandchildren if their parents aren't there, right? I mean, I can't remember what it is. It could be schooling, it could be a profession, it could be teaching. I don't remember exactly.
No, so they say about if let's say there's right to pay for tuition for their grandchildren. Yeah, that's where it's brought up. Yeah, because it does speak about a lot of cases like that. So, and this is most places can say it doesn't mean it's a grandfather from the mother's side or a grandfather from the father's side, for sure from the father's side, but even the mother's side. And you see from this is a source even from the Torah, right? Which is not just the Rabbanan. You see here that you have a source from the Torah about this. So, therefore, the parents have to teach their children. The parents have to teach their children that you're supposed to honor your grandparents. Not only teach them by teaching them with the teaching, but also have to show them by example. So the question is only, where does is the idea that it's independent? Why does one have to honor his father's father? Is that because you're showing honor to your father by honoring his father, or is it just a separate halacha that you have to honor your grandfather independent of your father? The question is does it go through the father? That's something to think about, right? How does it go? Is it just an independent mitzvah to honor your grandfather, or is it that by showing your grandfather a kavod, that's showing honor to your father?
Well, you could say by showing honor to your father, you're showing honor to your grandfather, because the father is showing to the grandfather.
That's true too, by showing honor to your father.
I mean, like you have children, right?
Yeah.
So you go to your father, you say, look, Dad, look at your Enoch, or look how he's learning. So you know that your father is going to get a great, tremendous amount of, nachas.
Yeah.
And you're running, you're saying, Dad, look. So it's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. But I'm just bringing up that it could be that's the reason why the grandchild has to honor his grandfather. because it's a subcategory of honoring his father.
Yeah.
Is you have to honor the father's father, and when like you're saying, but this way when the father sees the child honoring the grandfather, that is in effect the way of honoring the father. So there is a big question about if that could be the reason why the child has to honor his grandfather, because it's a part of it's a part of his father. So based
also
on that,
in saying Kaddish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's always. I don't know the wording for it, but it's more strong that a family member does for a friend rather than hiring somebody. Or
Yeah. Not only what happens if a grandfather dies,
if the son dies,
and the son dies. And the father and the father and the son die, and there's only a grandchild who survives. Is there a mitzvah to say Kaddish for the grandfather? So based on this, there's a mitzvah of Kaddish. That's what they actually learn out, that there's a halacha of saying Kaddish for the grandfather, because this is honoring the father. This is one of the examples of honoring. So therefore, up to the point that maybe if it comes to a question of who gets the Amud first, who gets the daven first, the grandson or a son for a father, so the son has a bigger degree of honor. But if there's no son who has a mitzvah of Kaddish, the grandson goes before a distant relative, because there's a mitzvah of kavod. That is a practical obligation, practical nafkamina that comes out from this halacha. So that's what comes out from here. This is one big halacha. Okay, so this is something to work on. One has to, it's good to think about it, and try to train your kids that should honor their grandparents. And it could be it's even part of kavedas avicha v'asimecha. It could be it's just a little subcategory of honoring your father is honoring the grandfather.